So today's video, there's about to be some tea, okay? So tea spilled. I wanted to do this more of a get ready with me video instead of me just talking in front of the camera, because sometimes I can go on and on and on and on and on talking about a whole bunch of nothing, but it could be something to somebody. So yeah, so today is a get ready with me video, and I'm excited to do this video. If you're watching me, this is what I do to get prepared. I recently started doing this process of keeping my eyes from tearing up when I do makeup, and I did a lot of research, and I came across this one particular problem solver, I guess, experiment about how to get rid of teary eyes when you are applying makeup. And that is, one, you want to use a washcloth or a paper towel. This is what I use. I use a paper towel because I feel like paper towel are a lot more clean than a washcloth. So yeah, I put the paper towel inside of a hot, warm water. You don't want the water to be too hot, but you want it to be warm enough where it's like it gives you the hot figure, but not hot enough to burn your skin. And I put inside the hot water, and then I place it on my eyes and just let it sit there for a good 60 seconds. And then after I was done, I used my fingers, and I started pushing up my lower lids. I think that's what they call lids. And this is just applying pressure to the tears that are underneath. That bottom part is it's like that extra oil. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like an oil that, causes you to get watery. Just removing that extra watery. I don't know. It's like just do it. You'll see what I'm talking about. So I'm pressing up gently, and the tears are like coming out. That's basically what it does. It just pushes out the tears that are in there. That comes out whenever you're doing your makeup. And then after I was done, the number one thing that's like very important to prevent your eyes from watering is applying a eye drop. So when I read this, I was kind of surprised. What causes this is actually dry eyes. And dry eyes is what causes your eyes to tear up, because it's very sensitive to the products that you're using. And it also said that you're supposed to use hypoallergenic, I think, product. So today's product, we're going to be using something that doesn't have things that will cause my eyes from watering. I'll give you guys a blog for you to read. So yeah, that's the step to prevent your eyes from teary eyes. I'm still trying to figure out how to prevent my nose to run. So whenever I get through that, I'm going to come in and show y'all. So all the products that I'm using, I'm going to list down below in my description box, just in case you're like, ooh, I want to know what that does. I like how that looks. Ooh, she look good. I wonder what it is. It will be in my description box if you are curious to purchase whatever product I use in this video. So today's video is very touchy for me because it comes from a very sensitive place. But I always say this: transparency is key. Transparency can also bring someone to Christ. Transparency can also change and touch somebody's heart. It is all about being vulnerable, and that's what I'm going to be with y'all today. Vulnerable to its finest, okay? I'm not normally a vulnerable person, but I like to write. So when I write my feelings out, that vulnerability comes out, and I'm like, dang, so you soft. Like, you super soft. So yeah, so today's topic on this get ready with me video is if he cares, he will wait. I don't know why I put the letter A in front of that, but it's if he cares, he will wait. This is very, very close to home. One, I'm starting to really, take my walk with Christ very personally, very seriously. Not personally, well, that too, but seriously. The younger version of me would have never even considered how important this is compared to now. Someone who is more spiritually aware, matured. I value a lot of things that society says isn't normal. So yeah, so if he cares, he will wait. This is for anyone that is practicing celibacy or you are a virgin. And one thing about this topic is it can either break a relationship or it can make your relationship stronger. For me in the past, this topic about celibacy or virginity has caused a lot of tears into, my past relationships. There are some relationships that I really thought we were going to get married. I really thought this person was going to be the one for me. I was going to bring him home to mom and dad, my siblings and stuff. And then when I talk about virginity, I talk about celibacy, I talk about waiting before marriage. It goes out the window. So, yeah, waiting for marriage or sex before marriage is one important topic, and I really want to talk about this. So, 1 Corinthians 13, verse 4 and 7, it talks about love. And the verse goes like this. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoice with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hope, and always preserves. So before we go in deep in transparency and deep into vulnerability and deep in my feelings, just being more deep into everything, I want to say this. This is for anyone that is going through this stage in life where you are taking your walk with Christ more seriously. You are taking your body very seriously. You are trying to spiritually mature yourself. But society is making it seem as if it's not cool, that you have to do these things, have sex within, have sex in your relationship, have sex before marriage. And you feel that pressure when it comes to your relationship with your significant other. One thing I am going to say, like I said before, talking about sex before marriage or talking about sex with your partner is very important, because this is where you will learn if this person is for you or is not for you. Okay? If the person that you're with is trying to convince you, trying to convince you that you have to have sex in your relationship, sweetheart, that person ain't for you. Okay? He ain't the one. As great of a guy he is, he ain't the one. So he gotta go. Tell him to meet you outside. How about that? He's not for you. So that's what I wanted to say. Growing up in an African household, if you're African, you know where I'm coming from. My parents never really talked about sex. We never talked about relationships. I can remember the only thing that, my aunts told me were, if you start your period, that's when you become pregnant if you have sex. That was the only thing that I was told about starting my period, was that's when your body is able to produce a child. So we didn't really talk about sex. The only time I heard about sex conversation was after marriage, when the mother of the bride will have a talk with her daughter, about what happens after marriage. But as a teenager, I feel like that's the most important time to talk about sex before marriage. And I wasn't given those type of conversations as a younger woman. You start to learn. Make it make sense, okay? Make it make sense. You start to learn things that you never thought existed. So I basically had to learn on my own. I made a lot of mistakes when it came to friends, when it came to relationships, when it came to the things that I read, when it came to the things that I listened to. I want to say this. Being a virgin doesn't necessarily mean that you are still holy. You can be a virgin and still do things that are entertaining your flesh when it comes to the things that you're listening to, the things that you're watching, the conversation that you're entertaining. Just because you're not having sex doesn't necessarily mean you are clean as a virgin. Now, make it make sense, okay? I allow the word love, I love you, become poisonous. And I allowed myself to accept being in a relationship, meaning giving up my identity, giving up what I knew was supposed to be something pure and important to me and God, that only a husband was allowed to receive. One of my exes once told me, I can't be with you if I can't have sex with my girlfriend. A relationship without sex is nothing. Being mentally attracted to each other is fine, but sex is what brings us together. It shows compassion. Hearing this from someone who I thought loved and cared about me, I thought it was normal, but I was wrong. After my last relationship, I decided to recommit my life to Christ. I was tired of the hurt, the lies, the embarrassment. I learned to value myself, and I learned how to use the word no. I had a incident that happened a couple weeks ago, let's say a month ago. And I am still open to, dating and stuff like that. And now I'm learning the most important thing, which is letting the person that's interested in me know where I stand when it comes to sexual immorality. And I had a guy tell me, I'm here for it. And I told him, I said, well, I'm waiting until marriage. And I respect him for saying this, which is, you're here for marriage, I'm not, so we can be friends. And that's perfectly fine. A lot of us tend to be we are so afraid on losing the relationship instead of building your relationship with God. When you build your relationship with God, losing what you thought was good for you is the best thing that could ever happen to you. Mark 8 chapter 36. No, Mark chapter 8 verse 36 says, and what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own soul? Society likes to paint this picture of women who practice celibacy, or women who've been virgins will forever be virgins. They will never find someone who, respect their values. Or you might find somebody that respects your values, but it won't last, because sex is supposed to be something that two people that are in love or in a relationship should be able to practice amongst each other. They paint this picture, make it seem as if you won't find your person. The Bible does say, ask and it shall be given, seek and you'll find, knock and the door will be given to you. When you're practicing celibacy, or you are, protecting your virginity, you don't want to hop into what society says is normal. When you're really leaning towards God, He will give you what your heart desires. Sometimes we are so afraid on losing what we think is for us, when God is telling you, let go of what you think is for you and cling on to me, because I will give you what your heart desires. Sometimes what our heart desires isn't what God's heart desires. One thing I've learned about myself during this entire period of practicing celibacy and waiting before marriage was the fear of being alone. I always fear that the man that I'm looking for, the man that I'm praying for, would never come, because society is telling me that there's no man like this in this world anymore. The more you dig into the Word of God, you have to believe that there is a man like this for you, regardless of what society says, that being a virgin is whack, practicing celibacy is whack. You yourself, by faith, you have to believe that I'm not just practicing celibacy or holding on to my virginity for no reason, God. I know that there is a man out there for me, and by faith, I know that I will receive that man that I am praying for. Never allow what is going around you, or, what you're seeing on television, blind you with what God has for you, because I promise you, there's no such thing as God doesn't answer prayer. So I know it gets frustrating. It can get very frustrating in this period of time where you are waiting, because the God that you think might be for you, is showing you all these signs. But spiritually, God is looking at it and is like, yes, he's everything that you're asking for, but he's not everything that you need. Does that make sense? So I really had to lose the idea of what society says about women that are virgin or women that are practicing celibacy, and really put my hope in God. Don't be afraid on holding on to what you know is right. Don't be afraid on losing what you think is for you when it's not for you, because God will provide regardless of what people say that you're doing is whack. If he loves you, or if he cares about you, he will wait. I love you is a verb. A verb is an action. A man who cares about you shouldn't make you feel uncomfortable with your decision on not having sex. Someone who cares about you will be patient, but also allow themselves to learn how to adapt in your lifestyle. You can always meet somebody that lives the opposite life of what you're trying to live. But when that person really finds something that's different in you that he's never met in any other woman, but because he cares so much about you, he will also want to pivot his life around to meet you halfway. Do not be fooled. If a man loves you, like I said before, he will be patient and won't ever dishonor your decision. He will want to adapt in your decision because of how much he cares for you. Pray for the type of man you want. You have to be very clear in your prayers. Sometimes what we want isn't always what we need. My mother has always told me, that made no sense. No, mommy, that's not what you said. Mommy says, patience is key to everything in life. There you go. The spiritual world might seem like a joke. Sometimes we feel as if what we're praying for isn't happening, but really it is happening. God is feeling your pain. God is with you during those painful times where you cry yourself to sleep praying for a relationship goal, but you thought you had a relationship goal, but Tyrone ended up being someone else's relationship goal, but not yours spiritually. God sees that. God answers prayers. He does answer prayers. During those hard times, that's a transition time for you to learn about yourself, for you to really get to know him and know what he wants for you, because God does answer prayers. So I encourage you to have patience. I know it gets frustrating sometimes, but you have to have hope. Never lose hope. This dating life isn't easy. A lot of us say we're going to be single forever. One thing that I want to say is your words are very powerful. Never allow that thought overshadow the prize that God has for you. You are a woman of value. Any man that sees that will honor that and will also, put himself into that standard of wanting to be the best for you and be in that uncomfortable situation for him. But because he loves you, he will want to adapt into your comfort zone. So never lose hope. Always pray for what you're looking for. Be clear about your prayers and keep praying for the things that you're looking for, and I promise you God will provide. I hope you like this video just as much as I enjoy making it. And the funniest thing that comes to my mind sometimes, I be thinking like, you still gonna have sex if you get married. Like, all you gotta do is just wait. Like, you like me, I like you. It's not like I'm like forbidding you forever from not touching me. But that's just a story for another day. That's just thoughts that come in my mind. But anywho, if you like these type of videos, make sure you like and subscribe. Always remember, sis, you're too beautiful. You are a diamond in the dirt that hasn't been found. And when you are found, it's gonna be an invitation from you to me for your wedding, because I want to attend. So yeah, like and subscribe. Let me know if you like these type of videos. I would love to make more. I did realize that I didn't create an outro for this video. I got too excited and I cut off the camera, and I got on Instagram and I showed y'all the final look. So you will get the Instagram clip instead of the full, I'm done with my makeup clip, look how it turned out, turn up, what's up, on my full camera. But yeah, if you're new, my name is Afi Elizabeth. I make videos on fashion, beauty, and also lifestyle, faith-based content. Let me know if you like this. Comment below. And I will see you guys in my next video. I look cute. Somebody wife. Yes, sir. Okay, bye.